Chad will correct me. It's still good morning.
Good morning.
I'll be a little brief at the beginning because I know we've got votes coming up. And you might have some questions. So another week and continually more challenges and crises along the border. But 15 times the Democrats have denied putting any aid along the border. The New York Times has written 2 editorials, but the Committee of Judiciary, again, has not had a hearing or a markup, but 15 times Democrats have denied what is happening. Last month, 144,000 migrants were apprehended. Those are just the ones who were apprehended. The highest one-month total in more than a decade. The trend over the past few months really has been terrifying. Continuing on this path, you'll have more than 1 million individuals apprehended this year. Put that in perspective. The capital city of California is Sacramento. There's only 490,000 people live in Sacramento. Twice the size of the capital of California will be apprehended along this border. Departments are running out of money. Democrats are ignoring the crisis and trying to avoid it. What are they doing? Again, just more hearings. In a Judiciary Committee is bringing up an individual who pleaded guilty to Watergate, who gets paid by CNN, who has accused every Republican president since then of doing something worse than Watergate. That's what their hearing's about. I think it's time that we move forward and actually solve the crisis along this border. Yesterday, leadership at HHS and DHS sent this letter to Congress urging us to take action on the humanitarian crisis. I'm hopeful, and I would be wishful that the speaker who was just here, that she had a plan of action, that she'd quit voting no, and actually be able to solve this problem. So let me stop there, open it up for questions and comments, if any of you have any. Yes, ma'am.
Leader McCarthy, the president says he accepts campaign help from a foreign power. Do you think that he's ignoring the law or that he doesn't understand it?
Let me be very clear. I don't want to see any foreign government try to interfere in our elections. And we all should stand united to ensure integrity of our elections. What I am appalled about is what has happened in our elections. I watched in the last campaign, the Democrat presidential campaign spend $6 million to a foreign entity to travel the world to try to find something. When they could not find it, they made false accusations, salacious accusations at that, drove this country into a special counsel lasting more than 22 months, using this false information, sending it to the FBI that went and got a FISA court, then to spy upon Americans, and took us through something we should never have to live again. I did not hear the speaker be appalled at that, or to have a chair of the House Intel Committee think that he's knowingly speaking on a phone to a foreign entity to supply some other false allegations. And what action did he take? Those are the things I'm appalled about that actually did happen.
John McCain gave the Steele dossier to the FBI.
Who paid? No, what I'm talking about is the Clinton campaign and the DNC spending $6 million creating a false dossier.
You're saying that the DNC made up the entire Steele dossier?
Did they pay a foreign entity to go around and create it? I believe they did. Yes, ma'am.
Is it right for the president to say that he would listen if foreigners offered dirt on his political opponents? Is that the kind of help that you would take?
I think we all see, you're talking about a hypothetical. One thing I want to see everybody in America, we do not want to have a foreign government interfere in any of our elections, and we should all stand united on that.
And so when the president
Yes,
says
sir.
he would
Leader
listen,
McCarthy, John Stewart had a lot of attention this week with his visit to Capitol Hill. How do you see the 9/11 fund issue playing out? Does there need to be a sunset? Is there a way to make sure that everybody from the New York metropolitan area where I'm from is not, getting a check if they get cancer from some other reason?
No, I think from an entity, if you're going forward, you have to find who are those who have been affected by it and make sure we care for those individuals. And that's exactly what we continue to do. I think there's checks and balances provided in there, but we should care for those that have got cancer based upon working for this country from the same basis. And that's what the legislation will do, and that's what we continue to fund.
If you or one of your colleagues was approached by a foreign power with.
Would you say like, you would
information,
say like Adam Schiff?
should they go to the FBI right away? The president says he thought the FBI director was wrong in making that assessment.
I think what you're asking right here is a hypothetical. So let's go and look at actually what did happen. Adam Schiff got a phone call that he willingly thought was a foreign individual, and he took it. What action did he take after the fact? Did the Democratic Party spend money to a foreign individual to try to drum something up that were lies? That's what we found. Did we just go through a Mueller report that found no collusion and no obstruction? The answer is yes. So no, if an entity comes to you, yes, go to the individuals and let them know.
Mr.
Leader,
Yes, sir.
doesn't the president have to
You've
set
used
an
on multiple
example?
occasions here, you said a hypothetical here. We're asking specifically about the remarks of the president. He speaks for the executive office.
Mhm.
That's very important, and we would like you respectfully to please address that question.
I think I have
Not
addressed it.
to a hypothetical. He said those things, and that concerns people. And so is that a
What are you
problem?
most concerned about the president? Did the president ever say he would be more flexible after the next election? No. This president has been tougher on Russia than any president before. This president, even when you go through, and anybody has gone through a report like the Mueller report that found no collusion, even though foreign entities tried. So the president has gone through this and acted properly all along the way, while you have another entity, another presidential campaign on the Democrat side that did the complete opposite. And that's why we should find through.
The president's comments were not problematic. Doesn't the president have to set a tone about what is right and what is wrong?
I think the president's been very clear. The president does not want foreign governments to interfere in our elections. He's been very strong about that. He did not say he'd have a foreign
He said
government
he
to
would look at
interfere.
the information, listen to it, and if there were a problem, he would go to the FBI.
I've watched the president. I believe the president would always do the right
Should the
action.
president clean up this remark or clarify it further? Would you, as his friend, would you encourage him to do that?
Look, I know the president. I know what action he took in the last campaign. Yes, when he was approached by this, he did what was right. When I watched the Democrats, they did what was wrong. They actually funded the entity that went through and put us through this special counsel, that utilized the FISA court to spy on Americans, to falsify the salacious lies in this process that's put America into this tailspin. I've watched this president do what is right, and I know this president would not want any foreign government interfering in our elections. He's strong about that. That's why he's been so strong against Russia.
What would you do, sir? Would
Yes.
you call the FBI? Would you call the FBI?
Would I call the FBI about what?
If somebody, a foreign adversary, called you and said, I have information on your opponent.
I would
you
put
call
it
the
to,
FBI?
I would send it to the authorities, yes.
Respectfully, Mr. Leader, I'll take one more crack at this. The question is, Mary asked it, Chad asked it a different way as well. We've heard a lot of your thoughts and understand your sentiments about the president would not help a foreign government interfere in the election. I understand you saying that. The question is, was the president right or wrong to say yesterday that he is open to material from a foreign government against an opponent?
I think what the president is looking at is from a couple different bases. I've watched this president. I've listened to this president. He does not want foreign governments interfering in our election, and he's been very strong about that. I've also seen the fact, and it is proven, and I don't know how many questions you asked of the speaker. What did she ever answer when it came to her own party spending millions of dollars for a former foreign intelligence officer that we're now trying to interview, travel the world, trying to drum something up, and when they could not find it, they made it up. And then they utilized our own FBI to go after Americans by using a FISA court with false information that they knew and they paid for. That is not a hypothetical. That is what took place in this country. That is why we went through a special counsel. That is why in this special counsel, the millions of dollars that was spent, the hundreds of witnesses, the 13 countries we went around. And what did they find? The question that you're asking about this president, no collusion and no obstruction. But within the Democratic Party, they funded this. Where is the outrage there? Where is this country to make sure that this never gets repeated again? I've watched this president stand up against these foreign entities, and he would not allow any foreign country to interfere in our elections.
So no comment on his words yesterday.
I think if you ask the president, he would be very clear about it, not allowing any foreign countries to interfere in our elections. Yes.
Speaker Pelosi has said that she's going to bring a package of
Yes, I could vote for it. I would hope she'd hold that same standard to the chair of the Intel Committee, because she appoints the chairman of the Intel Committee. So I hope she would hold that standard. I hope she would have that same standard to her own party. Her own party, who used more than $6 million to pay a foreign individual to go drum up information and make lies. I hope she would hold that same standard. I'd hope she'd hold that same standard to her past president, who actually told a foreign country that he could be more flexible after the next election. It's really ironic of what the Democrats have done, the lies that they have made, and now they're concerned. That's a problem that I have.
So we'll see Republicans vote for this.
Gladly vote for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.